welcome to Ultimate Survival Gear. Today, as you guys can see, I have yet again something from Salomon for review. Let's open up the box and see what we got, because these are Salomon's much requested Quest Rove GTX. And let me tell you guys, I am very happy. I'm very happy about these boots. Why? Because they remind me of back in the days when Salomon boots were really good. And yeah, this is what we get here. We get a taste of the good old days when the Quest were not ruined by all the fancy stuff that Salomon added. And again, this is my personal opinion. So some people, you know, they like Quest 4 better than Quest 4D. I'm personally not a fan. This right here is a reminder how great the good old Salomons were before. Okay, I'll talk about all of that later, the comparison a little bit later. Very comfortable. If you're getting these as a backpacking boot, you're definitely gonna appreciate it. As an Ultimate Survival Gear channel, I get all the boots and shoes here more for combat, tactical idea kind of behind in mind, and most of my testing of these boots were running around my range, doing some live fire drills, doing some sprinting in these boots, and I also did a few heavier loads ruck in these boots, and this is really where they shine because they provide excellent support, excellent comfort level. The waterproofing is fantastic. Overall, I mean, you cannot go wrong with this shoe. Currently $160 on Amazon, $160 on Salomon website. Both links are in the description below. So if you don't have time to watch the whole review, this was a brief overview for you. Get them, you're not going to be disappointed. But let's start the review with the very first criterion here. Is the criterion number one, comfort level. And like I said, comfort level is absolutely fantastic. This is really as good really as it gets. There are a few factors that contribute to the comfort level. Let's start with the very first one, of course, the weight. Now this is size 10, and I am thinking, I have not weighted them yet, I'm thinking this should be 15, maybe 0.2. I'll be specific, 15.2. Let's see if I'm anywhere close. No, I'm way off. It's 17.6. So actually it is over the what I was thinking. But it is still under that golden 20 ounce per boot. So if you are looking for something that is going to be not necessarily lightweight, but somewhere within the weight where you can be walking around, you know, especially with a backpacking boot, I recommend something under 20 ounce, and these are definitely well under 20 ounce, so definitely very impressive. Now let's move on further to the inner sole. I'm going to take it out, and I'm sorry, these are the actual boots that I have tested. Usually I do have a demo pair that is brand new, so I show a brand new pair and then I actually have a separate one for testing. But unfortunately there is, I guess, a high demand on these, so there was only one pair, so apologies. But the inner sole here is actually better, a lot better than usual Salomons, and I do like the fact that Salomon always implements ortholite inner soles, but this inner sole here, it actually does have a distinct arch support, distinct heel bed, and there is some extra cushioning in the heel area, which again is excellent if you're doing any kind of rocking with, you know, 40, 50, 60 pounds on you. If you're doing, you know, multi-day hikes, backpacking, you're definitely gonna appreciate that cushioning. Now, once we remove the inner sole, it goes straight pretty much into the midsole. So there isn't really much of any other cushioning besides the one that is in the inner sole. But again, this is pretty good overall. Now the padding, as you can see, the tongue is nicely padded. The shaft throughout the whole thing, it is nicely padded, and throughout the whole boot, you do have quite comfortable fit overall. Now Salomon, we will talk about the fit later, but usually Salomon is a narrower fit. I would say this is more of a regular fit, but again, we will talk about fit later, but it's something that contributes to the comfort level, and I wanted to mention it here. All right, let's move on to the criteria number 2, which is proofing and protection. Proofing wise, you do have Gore-Tex waterproofing technology that was implemented here. As you can see, the tongue is gusseted, and there is about, let's see, about well over 5 inches of that waterproofing clearance. So yeah, if you're, you know, out on the trail and there is some creek crossing, some shallow areas of the creek, yeah, the water's not going to get in. Pretty good. Gore-Tex, if you're not familiar with the Gore-Tex waterproofing technology, is one of the best out there, but so is also one of the priciest ones as well, and that kind of reflects on the price. We will talk about the price later, but it does work. It doesn't take away as much from the breathability, it doesn't add as much to the weight, but whenever it comes to the waterproofing, it works very, very well. Now let's talk about the protection. Now at the very front of the toe box, as you can see, there is this reinforced, it's not particularly a hard cap or anything like this, but it definitely does add some nice reinforcement. My running around and doing the live fire drills, the range that I do it on is gravel, so this cap right here was extremely helpful digging in, getting into the prone position. It really saved my toes. The other boots that I was testing, doing the same drills, they did not have reinforcement on the toe, and I definitely felt it. It did not feel very pleasant. This one does work pretty good. Now, you might ask me, Rove, okay, so what's so different between a regular Quest and Quest Rove? Well, Quest Rove is leather, yes. So if you prefer leather, I didn't mention at the very beginning, I wanted to keep it as a surprise. If you prefer leather, yeah, you're gonna appreciate it because you do have the protective qualities. I mean, leather, it's always going to be superior to anything synthetic. Let's be honest here. And yeah, here you do have it. That's the plus side of getting the Quest Rove. The heel is nicely reinforced, and of course you do have plenty of protection from the outsole, and we will talk about the outsole later. But for now, let's move on to the quality and design features. Now, whenever it comes to Salomon, they are, you know, one of the best brands out there, and whenever it comes to shoes, boots, to me personally, they are the best whenever it comes to shoes, boots. Quality wise, well, this is leather, so it will, chances are, again, I can't comment on longevity because I had this now for only a couple of weeks, but if you do have experience, let me know in the comments below. I always appreciate those comments. Your personal input is always appreciated, but judging by the reviews on Amazon, on Salomon, people are really liking these. And again, because it is leather, I think it will be a much better performer whenever it comes to longevity compared to really anything, you know, synthetic. Design features, usually here I talk about the lacing system. The lacing system here is quite interesting. There is 4 pairs of closed fabric kind of hooks, but again, they're designed so for lightweight. And then there is this right here, which honestly I don't know what particularly to think about. The design is in order to give you more kind of a support in your ankle. Does it do that? Well, maybe, but honestly I didn't really notice that much difference compared to really any other boot that does not have this strange of an extended of hooking system. The very top you have the open hooks, which do have the Salomon's quick lock, so it kind of does lock in place, so it makes it easier to put it on off. The lacing, the strings themselves, as you can see, are nice thick round strings, which I do prefer those because I think they're just easier to, you know, manipulate. So it's easier to put, you know, the boots on faster and take them off, which might not be such a big, huge plus for you, but I do appreciate it because, like I said, this is ultimate survival gear, so everything I get here is most of the times with tactical combat stuff in mind. Let's move on to the criteria number 4, outsole. traction and stability. Now this is Salomon's favorite, not probably favorite, Salomon's favorite as well. My favorite for sure. But Salomon's famous contact grip technology, and as far as the outsole, this is probably as best as you can get. And again, apologies, this is used. I don't have the demo version this time, but this outsole performs absolutely fantastic on literally anything you throw at it. And I was testing it out, bushwhacking through the forest, so it performs very well on dry foliage, on wet grass, on a sandy terrain, running up and down the hill on the sandy terrain. I did not slip once doing the sprints on my gravel driveway range. I did not slip once. Absolutely fantastic outsole, really as good as it can get. And a few reasons. Yes, quality rubber, of course. A very smart pattern. As you can see, the pattern kind of goes both ways, so you do have aggression going towards the front and aggression going towards the back, so it gives you a really good stability. So yeah, as far as the outsole goes, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Let's move on to the criterion number 5 really quickly. Sizing and fitment. Now this is size 10. Usually I wear, my normal shoe size is 9.5. Whenever it comes to boots, I like to get a half a size bigger, just so that I have a little bit of extra space in the toe box. It helps with the comfort. Again, it's really a personal preference. If you want more precision, more stability, like for example, if you're getting yourself a mountaineering boot, yeah, you probably want to have a little bit of a tighter fit just for more precision. But again, if you're doing it in a cold weather, you do want extra space so that you can layer your foot properly and so that you don't get cold. So it really comes down to what you're getting the boots for, what you're planning to use them, what kind of terrain, what kind of temperature. But if you are solely, looking for something for comfort, get yourself half a size bigger, and yeah, you're gonna be pretty good. True to the size otherwise. Fitment wise, like I said in the beginning, they are more kind of a narrower, I would say a mix of narrower and regular fit. So somewhere in between narrow and regular. Definitely not on the wide. So if you do like the wider toe box, you might find this a little bit narrower. But again, compared to a lot of other Salomons, this is not as narrow. So if you like Salomons and you do want a little bit looser fit, you're gonna appreciate these. Let's move on to the criteria number 6, application. This is ultimate survival gear channel. So whenever it comes to stuff that I get, I have in mind, people that put their lives on the line, the law enforcement, military, just as a prepared civilian, being aware, being prepared, stuff like this. If you're getting these boots for your backpacking, hiking, nothing wrong with that. I absolutely love that. It's fantastic. I think everybody should do it. It helps with, overall health, wealth, really whatever you want to say, it helps. It's great to be outdoors in the nature. But I think as a tactical combat survival boot, this is really probably one of the best there that you can get. Comfort wise, absolutely fantastic. Proofing protection, absolutely really good. And you probably noticed that this boot is not exactly mid-size. It's a little bit more than the mid-size, but it's a little bit less than the full size. And I think it's a great balance between the two. So you still have a very nice ankle support. You still have a very good protection for the ankles, but at the same time you don't really have as much of the weight as you would from something like this in the full size. And you still have the capabilities of carrying a heavy load on you and not straining yourself that much, not putting too much pressure on your heels, on your ankles, or on your knees. You have a fantastic outsole that will handle pretty much through any kind of terrain that you throw at it. So overall, I think, yeah, this is really as good as it can get. But let's move on to the very last criterion here. It's the price tag. Like I said in the beginning, currently $160. The link for Amazon is in the description below, and I'll put the link for Salomon's website as well. Sometimes you find a better price in one place or the other. Sometimes, most of the times they are the same, but sometimes Amazon or Salomon's website, they have better pricing. 160 bucks, yes, definitely. It's not cheap, for sure. But you're getting a leather boot. You're getting Gore-Tex waterproofing. You're getting one of the best outsoles really that there is. So I think for $160, it is definitely worth the price. Is there competition in that price range? Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of brands out there. I mean, just Salomon's themselves, they have plenty of other options that you might find that fit you better, and you might say, well, that fit me better, I like it more, you know. Or let's take Merrell. Let's take, for example, Salomon. They have some fantastic hiking boots. La Sportiva has some fantastic hiking boots. Mammoth, Arc'teryx, there's a lot of them out there, and they are, you know, somewhat within the same price range with the similar features like Gore-Tex with quality rubber for the outsole. So I guess you will have to, you know, try them out and find out. Sorry, I didn't really make it easier at the end. But if you are a fan of Salomon brand and you specifically prefer their older generation boots, you definitely gonna appreciate it, especially if you're looking for something that is leather. You're definitely gonna appreciate this. So hopefully you found this review helpful. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any requests for reviews, drop them in the comments below and I will try to address them. As always, thank you very much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.